Belly fat is really easy to gain and notoriously hard to lose. It can seem as though no matter what exercises you try and no matter how well you eat, the belly fat just won't budge. And unfortunately, with the exception to surgery, there's currently no proven method of being able to spot reduced fat from the belly. There is an exercise, however, that is incredibly underutilized yet powerfully effective when it comes to losing belly fat. Today, I'll share what that is and how you can start using it right away. First off, let's talk about why belly fat is so hard to lose in the first place. This was first brought to attention in the literature back in 1997 by Dr. Bouchard, where he discovered that certain areas of your body are easier to lose fat than others, and is largely determined by genetics. They found that although some individuals seem to be less inclined to store fat around their abdomen, most people's genetics prioritize abdominal fat loss last. Now, having your genetics stacked against you may seem problematic if you're looking to develop a slim or lean looking abdomen, but there is a solution. As long as you create a calorie deficit and continue to burn more calories than you consume every day, you will continue to lose fat. Eventually, if maintained long enough, you will lose excess fat from all areas of your body, even if your genetics put your belly fat at the back of the line. And although your diet should be your main way of creating a calorie deficit, adding additional exercise can help speed it up and ensure that you're continuing to lose fat even as your metabolism slows down. Now, you guys are smart, and you're probably already aware of this, and may have attempted to burn more calories and shred belly fat faster by incorporating things like running, rowing, cycling, or even HIIT workouts. These forms of cardio tend to burn calories very quickly, making them seem like a great way to burn off belly fat over time. For example, based on what's known as a compendium of physical activities, a regularly updated database that outlines the calorie burn for various exercises, a 170-pound individual, compared to if they were to just sit around, can expect to burn roughly an additional 12 calories per minute when running at a moderate pace of 6 miles per hour. So a 30-minute running session would lead to a net total of about 360 calories burned. Do that 3 times a week for a year, and that would lead to an additional 56,160 calories burned. And given that back in 1958, researcher Wisnowski discovered that losing 1 pound of fat requires burning 3,500 calories more than you consume, then this routine would amount to about 16 pounds of additional fat loss per year. Now, while this does sound great on paper, the truth is the overwhelming majority of people can't actually stick with traditional cardio long enough for fat loss to reach stubborn areas. In fact, even in studies where subjects are assigned to cardio sessions to do, dropout rates tend to be on average almost 20%. And it's not that these methods don't work, because they do. I've personally used running and HIIT regularly in the past to get me down to very lean levels, but they were brutal. They required a lot of willpower. I got sore from them, it really impacted my energy, and I just dreaded doing them most of the time. And although I stuck it through and eventually did get the 6-pack I was after simply because I was burning a lot of calories, I just couldn't get myself to continue these grueling sessions, especially outside of summertime. And eventually, I had lost a lot of the progress I had made. Now, don't get me wrong, these forms of cardio, they do definitely have their place, and some people have no problem sticking to them. In fact, I still do these intense sessions once or twice a week for conditioning, but I no longer rely on them as my main form of cardio to lose fat. And nor should most people. Because if you want to lose your belly fat, and more importantly, keep it off once it's gone, then you need something that you can stick to for life. What's the solution? It's the easiest to maintain, lowest stress, lowest fatigue, most versatile form of cardio: walking. Now, I know what you're thinking. Walking doesn't burn many calories, and there is no way I can walk my way to a 6-pack. Years back, I would have said the exact same thing. But a 2021 meta-analysis titled Slow and Steady or Hard and Fast helped shed some light on the matter. The researchers analyzed a total of 54 studies to determine the effect that different types of cardio had on fat loss. What they found is that intense forms of cardio like HIIT or running, while time efficient, didn't provide any superior fat loss effect when compared to longer yet less intense forms of cardio such as walking. Which makes sense. It's simply a numbers game. Your body doesn't care whether the calories you burned were from some crazy intense fasted cardio session or from plain old walking. What matters most is what you can do consistently over time. And if you crunch the numbers, you'll actually find that the calories burned from simply walking can very quickly add up to a meaningful amount. For example, Using the same exercise database we used earlier, a 170-pound individual walking at a casual 3 miles per hour can expect to burn an additional 3.4 calories per minute and roughly 200 calories per hour. If for 3 days per week you added in an extra hour of walking, that would amount to 600 additional calories burned per week. Over the course of the year, that's an additional 31,200 calories burned, which would amount to about 9 pounds of fat loss. But first, just compare the walking routine to the running routine that I gave earlier. Yes, the running routine will burn more calories in less time, but be honest with yourself. How likely would you be to keep that up for a whole year? If you're like most people and you go all out for 2 months, but then become inconsistent and give up after that, that 16 pounds of additional fat loss we calculated becomes just a couple pounds. This is why walking is the #1 exercise to lose belly fat and is why it's now my main form of cardio to get lean and stay lean. It's easy to stick to. So now that I've hopefully convinced you of the power of walking, let's dive into how you can easily start applying it to lose fat. For most people though, I wouldn't recommend trying to jump all the way up to something like 10,000 steps right away. Instead, set a realistic goal. And for example, first aim to do an extra 2,000 steps a day. Given that the average individual takes about 1,200 steps during 10 minutes of walking, all you have to do is throw in 2 10-minute walks into your day to accomplish that. The key though is to make this fit your lifestyle. Some tips I personally use are to always choose a far parking spot, take the longest way to the washroom, do 10 minutes of incline walk after each workout, take 10-minute walks after each meal, take the stairs instead of the elevator whenever possible, listen to podcasts while walking, and more.